Hi, this is Charting Man Dan of TheChartGuys.com, home of technical analysis education. Click the link for a free week trial, no credit card required, and gain access to our multiple live broadcasts daily, community chat room, educational videos, nightly watch lists, and more. Invest in your education and future and join the community today.
Hey everyone, Charting Man Dan here. So looking at Tesla and SCTY today, we'll start with Tesla, going to look at the daily, weekly, and then some shorter term time frames. So Tesla, we knew the bearish break occurred. You could see the daily chart tighter and tighter and tighter. Once 222 support was lost, that was the bearish break. We still had plenty of support to be watching, but right on August 25th is when the bears won the battle. And we could see since then it was just an all-out dump. Bullish reversal candlestick yesterday. We were looking for a bounce and looking for confirmation of that candlestick today. Obviously, the rocket explosion ruined that, and we saw further downside, so quickly exited any bullish positions, but the lower Bollinger Band was still resistance, and we hadn't seen any follow-through, so not too many people were in that play. Close down at the low of the day indicates weakness into tomorrow. I've got my eyes on this gap fill, 198.81. The RSI is oversold at 24. And I'm looking for this weekly pattern to remain intact, and that pattern is a tightening range. Ever since the February dump, we had a rip of a bounce. There's our high, higher low compared to the dump in February, lower high. I think we're going to form a higher low. And so I would expect to hold 187.87. That means we could pull back all the way to 190 and still maintain it. But my target is that gap fill, 198.87. And I think tomorrow we may get one last bear push to the downside before getting a short-term bounce. So I wouldn't be playing it for a complete reversal on Tesla. I would be playing it short-term personally for that oversold bounce, maybe just a few days, depending on the action. But step one is a bullish reversal candlestick like we saw yesterday. Step two is getting above the lower Bollinger Band resistance and confirming that bullish reversal candlestick. So the bears are still in absolute full control. Let's look at the action here pre-market. I was watching Tesla pre-market and liking the action, and it looked like we were going to easily break the high of yesterday of 212.60 and continue confirming that bullish reversal candlestick. There was at one point I was watching a bid up at 212.50, looked great, and then as soon as the price opened, I was doing the live broadcast, which we do each morning, and I looked back and saw that we opened at 209, and that seemed very, very odd to me because the pre-market action did not dictate that at all. So I had not received news of the rocket yet at that point. We quickly filled the gap, but all kinds of red flags were going off in terms of something is up with Tesla because of that gap down open without seeing any of it show up pre-market. So we filled that gap really quickly, and then we just absolutely dumped the rest of the morning. A little bit of a bounce, nice short-term bounce opportunity, didn't play out to anything, tightened up, and then we can see it just traded flat at the end of the day. We did break a new low of the day, but by 1 penny. There is still a double bottom at 20.50. We're trading below it after hours. We'll see if 20.50 can hold, but again, I'm looking for that gap fill. And one of our members pointed out a nice bearish entry opportunity on the hourly for Tesla. Perfect bear flag setup. So bear flag is when you have the dump, short-term bounce, I would say 2 or 3 candlesticks, and it's when your support and resistance lines are parallel on that bounce. Essentially, you're just cooling off the technicals that may be oversold, and then it's continuation to the downside. So we had a nice afternoon bearish entry for a couple more dollars back to test the lows, so that was a nice alert by one of our members. So Tesla, looking for further downside tomorrow, but also looking for a bullish reversal candlestick to form potentially tomorrow, and if not tomorrow, then absolutely I'm looking very hard on Monday. So let's now look at SCTY, which is also extremely bearish. It was down over 10% at one point today. It has been dumping now for 6 days straight. RSI is 16. When you see a daily RSI, that oversold, you know to start looking for a bounce. So we had a little bit of a bounce at the end of the day, and I'll point that out on the shorter term time frames. The lower Bollinger Band is resistance here. We need a nice solid bullish reversal candlestick, the lower Bollinger Band to become support, and then confirmation. The weekly time frame shows that there's not a whole lot of support in this area. Beside the low of yesterday, 1831, we're looking at 18 psychological, then down at 1772. 1727, 1650. There's not a ton of support down here. Lower high, lower low pattern intact. And it's actually, let's see if we have that double bottom here, 1630, 1650. So we do have a couple higher lows and lower highs. So I would expect the bulls to show up in the near term because that daily chart is so oversold. And we had a nice bullish entry opportunity this afternoon on SCTY. And I will show you on the 5-minute chart what the signal was. It was the 20-period moving average becoming support. And it was resistance all day. Anytime you see a resistance level all day reject the price, you know that when that becomes support, that changes the trend. So it became support, held as support, saw further upside. So then we had a higher low and a higher high, a little bit of an uptrend here at the end of the day. Held that 20-period support on a back test and then continued to hold it into the close. So not much of a bounce. If you're a quick flipper or using large capital, it was nice gains to be had there. But we're going to look for some more follow through tomorrow, and we need to hold 1831. If that breaks, it means back off as a bull, let the bears continue to do their thing, and perhaps tire themselves out to the downside before looking for another bounce. And oftentimes, volume climaxes signal the top or the bottom of a trend. So look at the volume climax in the morning. That signaled the low of the day for the next hour. And then we had a volume climax here in the afternoon, and that signaled the low of the day. So keep an eye out for those volume climaxes to signal trend changes. That's the rundown on those two names, scouting both oversold, and we will check back in over the weekend. Thanks for watching.